Oh, hey, how's it going? This is going to be a super low energy stream. If you're watching the replay, there are time codes down below. We're waiting for about an hour and 15 minutes before the actual legislative session starts. We have the clock up here. When this says 3 p.m., if I haven't turned it on the screen, everyone spam the chat and remind me. Yes, this is the second channel. And yeah, they're talking about. Oh, by the way, it's a right to repair stuff. SB550 and 549. It's weird because it's not even on the docket for some reason. Um, let's see here. Well, that's the videos. Anyways, there's a bunch of people going to be testifying for the medical right to repair. I guess there's certain people that have been trying to change stuff. Actually, here, I should probably, by the way, hello, whoever may or may not be watching. I should probably pull up, here, let me open my email. We're going to pull up the actual document here. They're trying to make a bunch of changes to where you can only repair certain things on your chair, but maybe not the armrests, and certainly not programming. And I guess there's going to be testimony from a bunch of people about why this is a bad idea. Let me see if we can find this here. It's in this email thread, maybe? Right to repair, blah, blah, blah. Sign a letter. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Man, there were so many emails flying around yesterday. Oh, wait, it came to my personal email. Hang on, how do we find this? This is me searching for emails again, yes. One of those things. Zoom calendar. Right to repair. Circulate an agenda shortly. Hang on, let me send myself an email real quick here. Yeah, it's really weird. They were trying to I'm not exactly sure what's happening, but stuff was being limited somehow. All right, let me see. On the iPhone, you hit reply to forward. There we go. Send it to my email. Emailing things to yourself. Hey, Dee Dee, how's it going? Yeah, so we're just gonna. I got my wheelchair parts finally. I got the DME to just hand me the parts again, which was nice. Talk more about that in a little bit. Let me refresh this. There it is. Email from Dan. There we go. Google document. Okay. Copy link. So, I think it's a Senator Solman or something, but the proposed amendment is a consumer who owns a power wheelchair may self-repair or have repairs performed, but only for the following items: batteries, battery chargers, non-programmable joysticks. Not even sure what that means. Joystick housings or brackets. So you can't get a bracket. Again, this is like proposed amendment for SB550 here in Oregon. By the way, this is all state of Oregon. Wheel assembly, non-positioning accessories. So no armrests. Designed for adjustment by a therapist. Caster spheres, cosmetic shrouding, non-power legs. Oh, these are, yeah, okay, these are the ones we are allowed to self-repair. Applies to the following. Anyways, there's a weird list of stuff here that doesn't make any sense. And then there's, the standard liability thing or whatever. But the weird thing is, SB550, they're doing a session today with testimony, but it's not even showing on the docket, which let me pull that up here. Where is it? Sign up to testify. Yeah, here we go. Pull this in. So invited speakers only. But, oh, there it is. It's been updated now. sb550 adds electric wheelchairs and complex rehabilitation technology to the type of consumer equipment for which an original manufacturer must make available to an owner or independent provider a tool, part, or other service, blah, blah, blah. Basically, you have to give them all the tools and stuff. So, anyways, they finally updated it. This is on here. So, anyways, they're just, I think this is about horse racing right now or something.
Is it the right amount? Our rules that will go along with this will be extremely specific, and we are going to require that the auditor...
Anyways, we're just going to leave this muted. Keep an eye on the clock at the top of the screen. I'm sure I'll remember, but yeah, anyways. So I just figured we'd chat about stuff. We'd look about some random parts. Let me open this up so I can actually see chat here. Hey, Kendra, how we doing? Rolling rant. Yeah, this is going to be pretty low energy. I probably won't be talking the whole time. Probably not a lot of viewers. I mean, I could post it on Twitter. Maybe I should. I don't know. But let me get the workbench camera set up here. Is that working? Yeah. Let's add in the window with the legislature thingy. So that's going to be... What is it? Did I set that up as window capture? This is me bumbling around Chrome. That is, yes, window capture. We'll add that in here. Window capture, existing Chrome with several E's. Then we're gonna kind of put this like that. Oh, I meant to leave it playing, but just mute it. There we go. We can watch them rattling on about stuff up here. Oh, we need to put the clock in here. Let's add the clock. I learned how to add a clock. I'm getting fancy. Browser, existing, clock. Look at that. There's a clock. And we will readjust this a little bit. Then we have to add in the standard disclaimer. This is the second channel, lest people get confused. Second channel. This is going to be large when I put it in here. There we go. I'll adjust this down. Got to warn everyone, this is not professional. It's poking around at stuff and things. There we go. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, we have assorted things now. All right. So, how's everyone doing? What'd you have for dinner? Do you enjoy salt and vinegar chips? Have you noticed that the Lay's cheddar and sour cream chips have no potency anymore and they taste terrible? Same with the Smart Food white cheddar popcorn. They've been skimping on the flavorings. Me, not so lucky. Oh, lucky you on the parts. Yeah, so, here, we're gonna use a wireless mic, and then I'm gonna start grabbing stuff. So, well, maybe, I think I'm safe to talk about it on here. So the DME I go to has had a complete turnover in staff since I was there last time. Literally not one person works in that same building that did last time I went there. Last time I was there, I got them to just hand me the parts. Their legal department drafted up this little disclaimer and I signed it. And as it turns out, they didn't make any money on the deal because they weren't able to bill for the labor for installation. And I was looking at the part sheet, the parts listing. The prices were very reasonable. Then I realized it was their cost. Anyways, I was like, there's no way that's ever going to happen again. Fast forward to now, everyone else doesn't work there anymore, and I realized that. So I was like, So I printed off the little waiver that I signed. I marched into that building, and I was like, hey, so normally they just hand me the parts. My chair is modified in a way that makes it extremely difficult to take off the side plastics. Like, I can go back there and show you how to do it, but it's going to take a lot longer than you think. And by the way, here's this form that I signed last time, and I held it up to their noses, and they're like, oh, okay, let's look into this. So they go into a back room, and I hear this flurry of phone calls, and I can kind of hear what they're saying. They're like, yeah, but his chair's been modified, and it's really hard to take apart, blah, blah, blah. A few minutes go by. The technician pops out of the back room with a handcart full of all my parts, and he's like, all right, where you parked at? So they made it work. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work to install the parts myself, but I didn't want to sit there for 5 hours and babysit installation and then probably have to fix a bunch of stuff when I got back. So anyways, I got my motors, side guards. They gave me extra parts for that for some reason. Then seat cushion, rear shocks, which are not shocks at all on a 3 Series permobil, as it turns out. And then I was supposed to get new back fabric. The main reason I went there to get back fabric. I get back with the boxes, and I was like, I should probably make sure these are correct. Everything looks fine. And then I see in the packing list, permobil leatherette back foam. I was like, oh no. I have an ADI backrest, not the stock permobil one. And sure enough, I open it. It's the wrong backrest. It's for a stock permobil back. I was like, eh. So, called them today. Short version, they have to go through insurance again. And it's going to take another 3 months to get that. Luckily, thanks, Ryan, I have a backup. So I'm just going to pull that off the other chair. And yeah, since it happens to be the exact same thing, I was like, okay, they screwed up. Why do we have to go through insurance again? So I called the insurance company. I'm like, hey, they screwed up, blah, 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 something, something. Do we really have to do this whole process again? She's like, oh, the authorization is still good for 2 more months. I'm like, oh, sweet. Give me the authorization number. So she did. And I was like, is there anything I should tell them specifically when I call the DME back so they will understand how to do this? Because, yeah, something. So I told the guy what backrest I had. I gave him the model number at the DME side. Then I called the insurance company. DME did not know I was about to call back. So I called back and I'm like, hey, authorization's still good. Which, by the way, only shaves a week off of 3 months. Anyways, whatever. And he's like, oh, yeah, so I didn't know what the height of the backrest was. That's not in the model number. So I was just going to guess. I'm like, you can pick up the phone and call me. I'm like, hang on, I'll grab a tape measure. So I grabbed it and measured it and told him, and then gave him all the information from the insurance company. So where's my fluffy bunny rabbits and rainbows? Again, I'm in a unique position to where I can get my own parts and kind of get this stuff taken care of, but barring any like expensive things like joysticks or control modules, I don't think I'm going to go through insurance again. Like anyways, whatever. So, what we're going to do now before this whole thing starts, which is in 1 hour from now, we're going to take a look at the new motors, see how they look. Then I think we're going to grab those F5 motors that we looked at before, and I'm going to kind of clean them and look at them and stuff and see how that all is or something. I saw the hearing thing was today. I got an email yesterday saying, hey, we need emergency testimony by 2:30 p.m. tomorrow, which is today. And I'm like, I was trying to get all the info and I couldn't really put anything together. So we'll just watch the session, I guess. But anyways, wireless microphone. Let me go grab some parts. We're going to take a look at it. Yeah, so anyways, like I said, I shouldn't complain. I have parts now. They wound up giving me extra stuff that I didn't really need, but that'll be handy for other chairs. Wait, no. Is that insurance fraud? No, it's not. I mean, I'm going to install them on this chair because the stuff's worn out, and that's why they ordered it. But they gave me stuff I didn't ask for. So anyways, workbench. There we go. You can see them talking away up there. I think you can still hear me. I think I can even see chat over here. Yeah, look at that. So here's our 5 Series motor. We're just going to kind of ignore that that's sitting there. I should probably clean up a few things. So, Dee, what are you waiting on for parts? I'm sure you've probably said, but I don't remember. Motorb. Oh, I was noticing too. These are from a 2018 F5, which means they have the old style hubs. And that also means, Mike, I'm sure you're watching, I can put those hub adapters on here and those wider wheels. So I think the plan is to make my daily chair, let me turn on some more light. We're gonna make this daily chair I'm sitting in into a Franken chair. I'm gonna try and put, no, I'm gonna will it into existence. We are going to put these motors on this chair and make it fast. We're gonna put wide tires on it. And then that other F5 over there, I didn't know I had these, by the way. Anyways, that's going to be kind of like my more daily black tie affair sort of chair or something. So anyways, how do we open? Cowbell. The thing is so loud. Yeah, so we got the clock there on the top. I think it's actually a different... Oh, I still have all these laptop parts here. I need to be careful. I haven't figured out what I'm doing with that. My inbox is so full right now. Like, I can barely move around my living room. So today I've been trying to go through stuff and get things kind of cleaned up. And I've been trying to decide what video I want to record. I was going to do one today, but this is me taking a break right now, by the way. I was trying to decide what video I want to record because I have to... Hang on. Plastic noises. I'm just going to get this off here so I'm not crinkling it for 20 minutes. Ugh. This is a 336/506 drive unit, 4,800 RPM, 22 volt, 350 watt F3 motor. Sorry, motorb. And snacks. Oh, we got mounting hardware. Ooh, shiny and chrome. Yeah, this looks right. We've got the whole pigtail on here. Here's what I'm talking about with the hub difference. You can see how beefy this is as opposed to the older style ones. This is that weird triangular bespoke output shaft, whereas this one is standard cylindrical. Anyways, yep, that looks like a motor. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it works. I haven't seen one this shiny before. Description, drive unit. Oh, this is from October of 2023. Interesting. It's been sitting around for a while. But, oh, do we have the same ones? We do. It's going to take some sorcery, but I'm pretty sure I can get these onto the chair. Like, if you look real close, I mean, obviously we covered it in the other stream. You can tell this one's slightly larger. But, yeah, anyways. All right, I'm going to go put this back. I'm going to grab the other motor, and we're going to kind of look at that. It needs to be cleaned a little bit. Hang on, is this working? Let me, oops, come on, mouse. Why are you not mousing? Come on. Yeah. Hang on, my mouse is being stupid. Live chat. There we go. All right, cool. Someone mash the keyboard in chat just so I can make sure this is still working. I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to grab some coffee. Oh, the other motor's in a stack of boxes over here. It'll take me a second to grab this. Other things going on. Yeah, just lots of projects. I think... I'm trying to figure out what video to film tomorrow because I need to replace the motors on my chair, but I also want to upgrade them to the 5 Series motors. But that would involve taking them on and off multiple times. And while the motors in my chair are bad, I feel a little bit scummy if I was to just not put the new motors on this chair. You know what I'm saying? But like, these 5 Series motors appeared, and these are bad. So it's not fraud by any means. But anyways, hopefully some of that makes sense. Hey, Scott. We're just killing out the clock here. You can see up in the top when that says 3 p.m. We're going to switch over to the right to repair whatever session. I think it's going to go for a while, and I'm going to shut up this time so I don't talk over the top of it like I did last time. But there's going to be some testimony, which should be interesting to hear. I don't know if it's in video form or they're just going to read the stuff off. This was all like within the last 24 hours that this got added to the hearing. And then also the weird amendments about not being able to do anything and getting thrown on the schedule. So anyways, should be interesting. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, those motors are so shiny looking. It's great. Oh, coffee. That was it. Here, I'm going to switch. Actually, I'll leave that one on. There's motion on the screen there. Let me go grab my coffee real quick. I'm listening while making dinner. Excellent. That's perfect. There's not going to be too much visual going on this stream, so... Oh. So I made a bunch of cold brew. Like, I usually make it like a half gallon at a time. And I somehow managed to knock over the entire glass half-gallon jar into the sink yesterday and made the biggest mess you can imagine of coffee concentrate. So I had to make a bunch more. And it was also $11 worth of coffee concentrate, which would last me like 3 weeks. Anyways, I just made more and I'm still cleaning up the mess. Here's coffee stirring sounds. Let me top this up here a little bit. We've combined Portside Blend with some sort of San Francisco Bay Coffee Company Ultra Dark. Blah, 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 something. Words. All right, hang on here. Oh, I have so much chicken in here. I had like 5 pounds of chicken breast, and then I cooked it in the Instant Pot because it was going to go bad. And now it's sitting here cooked, and I still need to do something with it. I think I'm going to heat it back up and pull it into like, you know, shreds, and then maybe make some chicken salad with it or something. I don't know. Ice. There we go. Some ice in here. Oh, I need to grab, hang on. I think I have some gloves. I'm gonna need gloves for these motors cleaning. Hang on, I got some water. A little reverse osmosis machine here. So Dee Dee's making dinner. What's anybody else up to? Just chilling. What day is this? Tuesday? I don't even know. Get some blue shop towels. And I think I have gloves. Maybe in this drawer. Oh, snap, I do. Oh, we need, wait, are they still in here? We need the Clorox wipes, too. By the way, if you're watching, person that gave me this motor, don't feel embarrassed about how dirty they are. I don't care how nice and clean you are to your chair. Like, I think Mike in chat is probably like the most up on top of keeping chairs clean. I guarantee you your motors are going to have some schmutz on them, no matter how hard you try. So don't worry about that. All right, we got our coffee here. Meeting has not yet started. Please stand by. Okay, let's get the other window open here that we know is the correct one, which I think is this tab. Let's look at the agenda. No agenda provided. Hang on here. Whoops. Hang on. Here we go. Let me pull up this list here. Okay, legislative. So we got live events on break. So 3 p.m. I think it's Senate Committee on Healthcare. I think this is the one. Subcommittee on Natural Resources, Ways and Means, Transportation, Behavioral Health, House Committee. So at 3 p.m. they usually start the video like right at or a few minutes after. I'm gonna have to hunt around and make sure we have the right one here. So yeah, let me get this tab over here. There we go. Yeah, I'm a little bit OCD about cleaning my wheelchairs. Yeah, exactly. I kind of gave up after I was living in the bus for a while, and I could clean my chair 3 times a day and it was still dusty. Let's use this. This makes a good garbage satchel, I think. I'll try and keep the plastic noises to a minimum here. I'm gonna unfurl this so I can throw our dirt in here. All right, there we go. Gloves. Yeah, so like I was saying on the other stream, I think maybe all I'm going to have to do is bend this back lever a little bit to make it fit on the F3. We did a bunch of measurements and stuff, and it was going to be really close. But, oh, wait a second. Oh, I'm an idiot. This is not the 5 Series motor. Where is the other one? This is off the C300. Hang on, we got to get this out of here. This is incorrect. I thought that was screwing with my mind a little bit. Where did I put it? Someone just dropped off some end tables. So I have more flat surfaces now. Let me look in this box. Hey, there it is. Well, we'll just leave that in there for now. This other one is mainly the one that needs some cleaning. Send a picture of my F3 motor frame when you had yours apart. Oh, sweet. How do I... Twitter, I'm assuming. Hang on here. How do I internet? There we go. Oh, wow. That's... Maybe you can see the clearance between the motor and the mount. Ooh, yeah, that plate... Hang on, they changed this. I have to save image as, then we'll put that on desktop. I have to slide this window over a little bit. Yeah, so right here, yeah, see this distance, I think we determined it was only 4 millimeters. So we may be able to get away with this. Yeah, it's going to be tight. That's your power platform chair, right? I don't know. I am bound and determined to make it work. So, yeah, anyways. What were we doing? Oh, yeah, cleaning. So, 5 Series. Oh, my screws. I love how I'm doing this on the same pad that I was working on a laptop on. And I haven't bothered picking up anything yet. So I'm gonna pull up my DMs here in a minute and see what the complaint was or why these motors were replaced. He told me, but I've already forgotten. I only have so much room in my brain for such things. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. This is power platform. Which, by the way, oh, you know what? I think we just have the problem with the hair getting down inside the seals and maybe binding stuff up a little bit, which is a pretty common thing and not really hard to fix at all. How do I frame this? I have an opportunity to play around with the power platform programming tools. I'm going to be meeting up with someone, and this person is going to give me some pointers on how the system works, and I'm going to get an opportunity to play around with it. So that should be pretty awesome. Where's our pliers that I was all excited about? Here we go. These guys. This is going to be perfect. So that means I'm probably going to have to acquiesce myself a power platform chair. There's 2 people I know locally, one of which owns that power platform chair that I had here for a little while, who is very interested in such things. And yeah, so new information and insights is coming soon. I was starting to feel bad because I was kind of falling behind as far as knowing anything about power platform. So being able to check out the programming tools and see how that all works is going to be awesome. I'm just going to have to get my hands on a power platform chair. And again, I mentioned it in the other stream. I think I'm going to reach back out to Mark's Mobility and see if they want to do some sort of deal. They have branched out now and they've started selling parts. much the same way that Build My Wheelchair does, where they will buy stuff on your behalf from the brand names. So, I mean, granted, my channel's not that big, but I still get around 45 to 50,000 views a month. So they actually reached out to me originally. So maybe we can work out something with them. Now, like I said, I'm speculating here. I haven't talked to them in like a couple of years now, but it would be cool if I could work out some sort of deal with them, or I give them some plugs. Hell, anytime I show anything with the Power Platform chair, I might be like, hey, Marks Mobility provided this. But yeah, I think that might be a viable way of doing it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to spend lots and lots of money, which I don't want to do. Well, I don't want to do. I'm not, I don't have the clout to make that YouTube cash yet. Yeah, so we've got enough crap wound around down in here that, hang on. I'm going to pull up the DM real quick and see what the complaint was before I start speculating on stuff. All right, trying to scroll with a glove on. Where's he at? Here he is. One of the motors were draining more electricity from my batteries, and my batteries were dying faster. Both the motors probably work, but okay. So I would venture a guess that these motors, all this stuff I've pulled out of here already is definitely enough to create a lot of drag on one motor. But then also, these being from 2018, I think. September of 2019. They probably need the brush housings cleaned out too. So I think between pulling all this garbage out of this one motor and cleaning the brush housings on both of them, I think we should be back in business. Ow. Like, they still technically worked, but, you know, it could have been a combination of things, and the chair was getting kind of old anyways, so, or, you know, getting to the point where it's not unreasonable for insurance to just do maintenance-y stuff. So, say all that to say, I think these are probably in just fine working condition after we do some basic maintenance. I'm probably not going to try and clean the brushes here on the bench. That's going to have to be something I'm going to do outside. And I'll probably have to grab the air compressor from the bus to do that, because that's going to make a royal cloud of carbon dust that I do not want in here for sure. But I don't see any evidence of anything leaking, which is pretty amazing. Usually when you get this amount of, like, you know, animal hair or whatever built up down here, it usually compromises these seals and they start leaking. But I don't see any evidence of that. So I think we're in good shape. Do the little flossing here. Oh yeah, there we go. Get some more stuff out of here. These little angled tweezers are probably the best thing ever, by the way. I don't know why everyone thinks sliced bread is the best thing ever, but apparently that's the standard. I'm going to say it's the best thing since the invention of virtual private servers online. Yeah, I like VPSs now. It's a server in the cloud that does your bidding. Let's see, what time is it? 2:20? All right, cool. Time's going by pretty quick here. Trying to deal with these. Get this all spit shined up. Where does the term elbow grease come from? Like, who coined that phrase and why? I mean, I understand it, but, like, American idioms are strange. They used to have a book somewhere of all the American idioms and their origin stories or whatever. This is me just babbling. But yeah, this one motor had all that stuff built up in it, and the other one looked pretty much fine. Let me get my light down here. What are those wipes called? Oh, these are just the standard Clorox disinfecting wipes. Any hardware grocery store has them. I usually use these for, because they're a little bit abrasive. I use these for like cleaning motors and stuff. And then for cleaning like the plastics and such on my chair, I use the Pampers sensitive wipes because those don't leave any chemicals behind and don't leave too many strands of material or whatever. That was the other thing, is yesterday when I went to the DME, I spent all this time getting my chair all nice and cleaned up. Then I got out my manual chair, I aired up the tires, I loaded it into the back of the van because I wasn't sure if they were going to let me just walk out with the parts. So I was all ready to go. I had my manual chair and everything in there. And of course, because of that, I didn't need to stick around, but that was fine. Extra work to put out into the cosmos to make me get my way. It just willed it into existence. Okay, so this, let's see if we can get your eyeballs zoomed down in here. This looks pretty good now. Let me grab the light. There you go. I think you can see that. It's all nice and shiny. No more debris or hair down in there. So, I'm going to go swap this out for the other motor. Make grunting noises. Whoa. Watch those pigtails. I'm going to balance this here like some sort of weird waiter with 6 pounds of wine glasses. I'm going to go swap this out for the other one, which is right here in this box. So, as far as the electronics go for switching to high-speed motors, hang on to these. Here, we'll look at the other one when I bring it in. I want to see if there's an RPM rating on them. Okay. As far as electronics go, the only thing I think I'll need to change... Oh, by the way, I need to reach out to anyone that has an OEM, that has a programmer with OEM access and a 5 Series chair. The one setting I may have to change is the motor compensation, and I don't know what that would be. So I'm going to need to find that from someone. I can set it manually, but it's a whole process that takes like half a day, and it involves a lot of screwing around. But I think the motor ohm compensation is the only setting I'm going to have to change to power these motors. As far as programming goes, nothing else will need to be changed. My chair's already set to 100%. The only difference is these motors are 4-pole and 3,500 RPM. That's how they did it. So they drastically changed the gear ratio and they lowered the RPM. Dude, these are 30 amps at 22 volts with a lower RPM, higher gear ratio. So that's how they got the... So these motors, if you've ever messed around with a 5 Series permobil, are just monsters for torque. So that explains it now. They lowered the RPM by 1,000 and then also changed the gear ratio to speed it up. So that puts these motors... These are also 500 watts, but watts isn't necessarily an indication of power. But yeah, 30 amps, 22 volts, S2 rating of 30 minutes. So these can pull 30 amps solid for 30 minutes. That's insane. Now, to put that into perspective, that's at direct current. These are driven with PWM, which switches it on and off like, almost tens of thousands of times per second. So that drastically cuts down your load and your heat output. So straight DC 30 amps for 30 minutes, these are never going to overheat under normal use cases, maybe even under abnormal use cases. But anyways, wonder how they changed the gear ratio, shaft diameter. I would assume, we looked up, hang on, it was, so these are 21.5 to 1. And seeing as how there's only 2 moving parts in here, there's the worm screw and the big rotational thing, I would assume they just changed the thread pitch on both of those to match. So yeah, 21.5. And the other ones are, it doesn't say on there. Oh no, those are 4,800 RPM at 350 watts. That's interesting. Lowering the torque, adding 2 more poles, changing the gear ratio. The 6.5 mile an hour ones are 29 to 1. So 21.5 to 29 to 1 is a significant difference. Sorry, I'm just geeking out on finding this out with the engineering involved in there. But they were smart about it. And instead of just upping the gear ratio, they added 2 more pulls and lowered the RPM to get the motor into its happy spot. That's cool. Oh, man. So this one has almost no buildup of hair. Just got a few little things in here, but nothing like the other side was. But yeah, I would assume they just changed the gear pitch to match on those 2 moving parts. And by the way, you know you've nailed the angles and the engineering of the gearbox. Like I said, this is a worm drive. If you know anything about those, you can't turn the output and make the input turn typically. But the angles they chose and the materials it's made out of, I can turn this by hand easily. That's some good engineering right there. Obviously, it's not hard to do. It just means you took the time to set it up, pick the proper materials, proper lubricants, right gear pitch and ratios and all that. Well, the gear pitch more than anything. I don't know. These are great. So we're just gonna get the last of this stuff out of here. What time is it? 2:30. All right, doing good. Flashlight in the mouth for a minute. I think it's almost like moss on a roof. This motor seal shaft looks like it may have been leaking a tiny bit, but there's not nearly as much hair in it. And if you get enough moss on your roof, the moss will keep it from leaking. So I think this not being as completely compacted as the other one was may have been allowing this to leak just a tiny bit. It's not much. It's just barely some seepage. It's just kind of funny to see that. Almost got them all, just down to the last few little stragglers here. All right. Some more flossing. Yeah, other wheelchair manufacturers, their gearboxes are a lot more traditional, where they have an output shaft that's geared, and it goes to 1 or 2 different jack shafts that change the ratio. So you lose a bit of efficiency that way. And someone pointed out on the last stream, actually, I'll probably post on Twitter here in a minute, just before the actual hearing starts. But someone pointed out on another stream that the efficiency loss for gear and chain drives are probably pretty similar. But that assumes the slightest bit of competency with tolerances and whatnot. I had a Q6 Edge 1, and the motors got so hot on that thing. But then I realized most of the heat was coming from the gearbox. Heat is generated by loss in efficiencies. So, yeah. That one, I did some testing. I attached a 1-foot bar to the motor and tried to see how much weight it took to get the mechanism turning and keep it turning. And there was a lot of losses in those gearboxes. But on that other stream, I was comparing, I think I said something like 20 to 30% loss through right angle motors as opposed to the chain drives on the Bounder. Those numbers were pretty high. But yeah, this setup, though, is about as efficient as you can be with a right angle gearbox. And since it's a worm drive, the fact that the output shaft comes up out the side is kind of irrelevant. But there's only 2 moving parts in there. Okay, I think that's Ooh. So that actually sounds good. Let me put the microphone down here. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but you can hear when motor brush housings need to be cleaned. You can hear this cogging though. I don't know if you heard that, but this is in very good shape. Granted, I am going to clean the brush housings. I don't think we're going to get an insane amount out of there though. Actually, here. We're not going to clean them. I'm just going to pop one out and we're just going to take a look at it real quick. Okay, I think we're done with this. Where's the flat blades is the next question. I think, here's my tool bag. And standard disclaimer for motor brush housing covers. These are Bakelite plastic, extremely brittle, and you have to be so careful to keep from chipping this stuff when you unscrew it. I should probably turn on the rest of the lights in here, right? Would that help? Yeah. Yeah. These brushes are maybe only about 20-25% worn. And you can see the little striations. Looking down inside here, dude, it looks basically clean. Like, we'll get a little bit out of this when I blow air through. You can see there's a little bit of the carbon dust here. But that's not bad. Nice. Okay, let's get this reinstalled. There we go. Alrighty then. I deem these are ready to, well, I was going to say test, but I'm going to take them outside at some point and blow them out. I was just thinking, as far as making a video tomorrow, I think, because I haven't made a video on how to replace motors on a chair specifically, I was thinking about doing something that was 12 minutes or less that just kind of goes through the service manual and all the steps pretty quick. But then I realized my chair is the one I'd be doing it on, and I've added a lot of extra bolts and thus a lot of extra steps. Oh, this clock is an hour off still. So that may be more confusing than not. I don't know. I'll figure out some video to make tomorrow. I usually do stuff at last minute or figure it out. Like, I'll wake up and be like, okay, this is what we're doing. Oh! This right here could be part of our issue too, actually. So if you get a bad connection, the amperage is going to go way up, and that's going to drain your batteries faster too. So this housing being broken means these contacts are not going to be clipped on as tight as they should be. So yeah, I think between all of the stuff that got into the seal on the other one and this one being broken, we were probably pulling a lot more amperage between the two motors than we should have been. So anyways, thanks, man. If you're watching this, thanks for giving these to me. All right, let me go. Oh, I need to stop leaning forward. I'm going to go set this back down. Then we're going to go back to the computer and poke around and get ready for the governmental session. That word that starts with L, I have a hard time saying for whatever reason. Do. Oh, and by the way, the only difference between these motors on an F3 versus the motors on an M5 versus F5, the motors and gearboxes are identical. The only difference is the bracketry on the back of them and the shape and angle of the brake lever. Other than that, everything is the same. Permobil likes to consolidate and standardize everything. And they only make 2 types of motors. The 6.5 mile an hour ones that they use in everything. Okay, so we're excluding the M300 HD. But they only have the 6.5 mile an hour ones, which sometimes they say are only 6 miles an hour. And they'll ship the chairs with my chair was shipped with the speedometer incorrectly calibrated, saying I can only go 5.98 miles an hour. Anyways, they only have those motors, and they only have the 4-pole ones. Only 2 sets they make, and then the third technically for the M300 HD, but that's different. And everything else as far as speed changes, like if you order a chair with 5 miles an hour as a top speed, like say you order it without anti-tippers, they will cap it at 5 miles an hour. Purely software. You can change that. And the 5 series chairs, 7.5 miles an hour, those are all the same. So only 2 types of motors they make. The only differences are the bracketry and the programming, essentially. They like to standardize everything. All right. Let's check in over here. I'm going to drink some of this coffee for a minute. I'll lean back here and relax a little. All right. Let me publish a link to this stream on the Twitterverse. Where did my Twitter? There it is. Profile, post. Testimony from users as well. Shift, enter, Control V. I should probably put the date in here. Twitter's weird with notifications. This is 4/22/25, 3 p.m. Pacific. No, PDT. We're in daylight savings time right now. There we go. And post. Now we'll get a flood of influx of viewers on the stream. And by that, we'll probably get like 2 more. But that's fine. All right. Automatic captions are enabled for English. Their languages will not be correctly transcribed. All right, cool. All right, we are at 3:39. Let me check the website here and just refresh this. Get started. Okay, that's fine. Then back here, make sure everything's still here, which it should be. sb550. Oh, Senator Solman is the one that was proposing some changes. We're just going to hear what she says. I think she's going to be in the session. These scheduled events. It says there's a public hearing on Thursday as well at 1 p.m. Interesting. I'm not super familiar with how this stuff works or what we're going to call all this. Oh, this was not from today. Anyways, I don't know what's happening. We're going to wait till... Oh. I think they turned the feed on. Sweet. We can see an empty room. We can see everyone saunter in, probably. I've got we got the volume turned up here. All right, cool. We're gonna keep an eyeball on that. We're gonna look at some of the other parts I got real quick. So let me go. Oh, they locked us out. They were just testing. We're gonna look at some of the other stuff I ended up with here. Let me grab another mint real quick and keep an eye on that screen. And as soon as it starts, I'm going to shut up and let them talk. Because last time we did this, I talked right over the top of them and I didn't know what was going on. Okay, here's some more things. Workbench. Okay, we've got that up in the corner there. So we have, these should be lateral or side supports, or here, we'll see what the actual name of these is. BILPTS, stretch air pair. So we have the standard, these seem huge. We have the standard things, and then we have their newer covers. I was actually using the older style ones that's sort of this like pleated breathable material. And this stuff is significantly more robust and resists tearing and whatnot. These newer ones from Body Link, I think it is, it's a much thinner material and it tends to have the seams rip out along the top here. But we have the sort of gel and non-slip padding in here. And you mount these. I don't know why they sent the mounting hardware. Oh, there's a whole manual. But you mount these things with these rails to this apparatus. And they have this ginormous mounting mechanism now. Anyone else remember when Permobil had the flat bar ones that didn't stick out 1.5 inches from your chair? So I didn't ask for these, but apparently they come as a set. So they're perfectly fine on my chair. So these will probably get used for something else. Oh, they had a little piece of cardboard in here to prevent rattling during transit. That's what that was for. See, it's little attention to detail, things like that I enjoy. Anyway, so we have a pair of these. And then, looks like a bunch of hardware. Let's see what the book says. Oh, this is quality printing. This probably costs like $5 or $6 to print. Yeah, I'm also a printing nerd. Okay, head support, lateral trunk. Oh, pelvic thigh support. Okay, page 11. So that's what they are, thigh supports. Yeah. Just shows exactly like you'd imagine for installing things. Rails on rails on rails. There's a rail here, there's a rail there. There's a socket, there's another rail. Support pad depth, how to swivel. Oh, height adjustment too. How to use the hardware release lever. You grip it and rip it. All right, anyways, so we got all that. See, our video session has not restarted yet. So I will be probably just installing these covers. The ones I have are like okay, they're starting to get worn down here, but all the rest of the hardware is fine. All I wanted was the covers, like this piece, but then we got the rest of it, so whatever. It's not like these ginormous mounts are going to wear out. Okay, so we got those. We got 2 of these. And yeah, all right. So we have all those. Let's see, what else was there? Oh, cushion. I got a new cushion as well for my seat. It's a Ride Forward. Man, those things are expensive. Oh, the shocks. That's one thing I'm going to do probably on the live stream Thursday. If I get around to removing these from my chair. Mike actually is the one that clued me into this, but the shock absorbers are not shock absorbers at all. So we might try taking those apart. Just to illustrate that they literally do nothing except be a spring. Actually, Mike, was it destructive to take these apart, or did you just unscrew everything? Yeah, so there's no valving, there's no seals. Here, let's... We may have to use a tool. So off-label use for right angle Allen wrenches. However, these are the perfect size to just stick in these little holes and use as a handle to unscrew these. There we go. So we have a little keeper there, 248, keeping an eye on the time. We got the spring, and there's the lower plate here. And this is the part that basically does nothing. Let's get our little boot off of here. Yeah, there we go. Oh, this is plastic. Here, listen. Do you hear any valving in there? No. Will this unscrew by hand? Hang on, acquiescing a wrench. I think we might take these apart right now. I feel like the older ones might have been metal, although I don't recall if I ever actually took them apart. Where's the thingy? Here it is. Does this open wide enough? I'm gonna get some pliers too. I'm gonna refresh the video feed real quick, just because sometimes this browser doesn't do that on its own. Okay, that looks good. Not quite big enough. Yeah, see how that just wobbles? Ooh, I should probably not shred my hands on those threads. Ooh. Yeah, I need a proper... Oh, hang on. We have the bigger brother. I'm also assuming this is not right or left-handed thread. Oh, hang on. I think we have some bushings in here, so I don't bung that up. Look at that. Kit came with new bushings. So we will insert that. Then we'll put our... Oh, it's too big. Next screwdriver. Time is 250. Let's go with the Philips. Let's see here. See if anyone else has joined the chat. Looks like we got a few. We're gonna pick up that the governmental session here in a few minutes. We're just kind of killing some time in the meanwhile, looking at these new shocks. Hey, Mike, how's it going? No, on the 3 Series chair, they're literally nothing. Do you see any O-rings here? No O-rings. Hang on, the camera's bouncing. No O-rings. No seals here at all. The weight of itself lets it move. We're opening it up to prove these are literally nothing. All right, here you go. Are you ready to see the valving on this shock absorber? That is a bolt and a housing. There is no valving down there. There is no seal on this plunger. No plunger really at all. No seal here. So when these get squeaky, the only thing that's happening is dirt is getting in this rubber thing and squeaking. See if my chair will do it. Of course it stopped squeaking, but yeah, these are just not shocks. See, I was under the impression that the 3 Series were like nitrogen or gas, and the 5 Series were oil dampened, which would make sense. So while we have 4 shocks on the 3 Series chair, they're literally just springs, which is still suspension. You're going to get, you know, through the action of springs compressing, you're going to get, you know, some bounciness, but these are not dampened at all. So I guess they're like technically shocks, but like not. So anyways, we'll just put this back together. Yeah, faux shocks. Yeah, I didn't realize these were just plastic thingies. Maybe they were never metal. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I'd never taken apart the other ones. I just made the assumption that when they said shock, and I think someone at some point may have said they were gas filled, but no. Yeah, I've got... What is this for? Oh, that's for the spacer on the front, the long bolt. Okay. So anyways, we have these at least. The only thing that can possibly squeak on this is the little rubber shield. And if you get to looking at this, you realize this isn't even a suitable surface for, well, normally you need a very, very nicely, smoothly machined surface for seals to work at all. And this is just a bolt. And I think you can see the end play there, but yeah, you couldn't even put a seal on this. So we get a little bit there, but like I said, that's just the rubber. Interesting stuff. Okay. We'll just pretend those are omnidirectional. Oh, we got to hold this in. There we go. Okay, 5 minutes till. Yeah, interesting stuff, right? I don't know what that's for, but we'll shove it back in here. I'm going to go put all this back in the box out there so I don't lose it. Heck, we might even put away a couple of tools while we're out there. Sorry, OCD. There we go. So yeah, they do technically provide cushioning as opposed to a hard mount of your motors just being directly connected to the chassis. So they do provide shock absorption, just not dampening. So yeah, anyways. All right. Time to, hang on, I'm going to grab a cold beverage from the fridge. And we're going to lean back and relax and watch this session unfold in front of our eyeballs. And or earballs. All right, got my coffee here. Moment of silence while I slurp some beverage. Alrighty then. Now we wait. So I think usually these things start right at or a little bit after. They're like, hey, how's it going? It's a thing. Let's watch it. Excuse me. Yeah. Hang on, I'm gonna another moment of silence here. I need to catch up on a couple of messages real quick while we're waiting for this. It's all right. I think here, I'm just gonna paste this in the chat. This is all public record, so someone can look at this form, and if you want to summarize it, I don't understand, but it sounds like to me they're trying to say you may self-repair everything as long as it's batteries, chargers, joysticks. I think I had that backwards. Wheels. You can't do any programming. And it's just those 11 basic things. So it'll be interesting to hear the rationale for that. I assume that is going to come out during this session. It's Senator Solman that is proposing those changes. And again, I don't know why or what, and I'm all ears as far as hearing an explanation to that. It made me do that dog tilting its head to the side thing when I read it, but I'm open to hearing the explanation, you know. Oh man. Oh. Stretching here. Ooh. Nothing like hurry up and wait. Let's see, I think I posted this on here. Let me actually happen. Oh. I just got the link to submit my testimony, but it's closed. There's a link to the bottom to submit your testimony. Oh, this amendment is not coming from Senator Solman. Oh, I apologize. She's working hard to keep the bill as is. But now that the bill is in the House, we need to show the House members that narrowing the bill would impact wheelchair users' abilities to get the repairs they need. Okay, so apologies to Senator Solman. Yeah, again, I do not know how this stuff works. I'm not a politician, but that's the update from someone who is in the know from osprig.org. Yeah, so real quick. That should be the correct one. That was the old one at 1 p.m. Just we deemed it was healthcare. I'm gonna load these other ones up just in case. Wait, are those all the same link? No, they are all different. Okay, so we'll figure out which one's which. This is the healthcare one. I'm assuming this would be the one we need. What do I say about assuming? It means you don't know. Officially commencing thumb twiddling. 3:01 p.m. Wait, is this clock right? Yeah, it is. Let's see here. Some sort of poll in the chat. What should my poll be? Sort of poll. it's hard to read, but it says, what is that bubbly drink? LaCroix? LaCroix, yes or no? Tell me your vote. Feeling. I think the audio should come through as soon as that starts. Oh, so manual wheelchair users can do whatever they want. I guess the rationale is it's basically like a bicycle, so yeah, you're not going to injure anyone with that, I guess. And then it adds the liability. Not require an OEM. Oh, to divulge trade secrets. Ooh. Except as necessary to provide documentation for it. So, okay, so we have a trade secrets clause in here. This might be interesting. Check the rest of these here real quick. Oh, we had the wrong one up. Judiciary. New.
Introduce the bill.
And we are going ahead without delay.
We turn
even
this
though
up.
No, we'll be joined by other committee members because we know you have to get next door to another meeting that you're the vice chair of. So Representative Nelson, welcome. If you would introduce yourself for the record.
Thank you, Chair Patterson. I'm fine hanging out with you guys for a little bit, personally. Vice Chair Hayden, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Travis Nelson, and I'm the state representative for House District 44, North and Northeast Portland. I'm testifying today in support of House Bill 2789. The concept
Not
for
sure
this
if this is
bill
the right
was
one.
brought to my attention by the American Nurses Association. So House Bill 2789 is a practical, patient-centered bill that addresses significant gaps in Oregon's healthcare system by allowing registered nurses to bill for care coordination without requiring an order from a primary
Okay, that's
care
something about nurses. Let's check this other one.
Expand the types of providers who may serve as medical examiners to also include licensed physician associates and nurse practitioners, and clarifies that physicians serving in the role must be licensed.
Okay, who should go first, Lisa Hayes or Tim Dooley? Lisa, you want to go first?
Hang on, I gotta do some more hunting around here.
Absolutely, I'm happy to.
Right on, go ahead. Even though I just said your name, please introduce yourself for the record and please tell us about this bill.
My name is Lisa Hayes. I'm a physician associate practicing in the state of Oregon. Chair Nose, Vice Chair Javati, members of the committee. As I said, my name is Lisa Hayes. I'm a physician associate practicing in the state of Oregon. I also am the acting chair of the Government Affairs Committee for the Oregon Society of PAs. I'm happy to be here today in support of Senate Bill 536. As you're
I'm not
likely
seeing it in
aware,
any of the agendas.
PAs are licensed clinicians who practice medicine in every specialty and setting in the state of Oregon. PAs are trusted rigorously.
removes unnecessary red tape, and prioritizes the health and well-being of all Oregonians. It's a straightforward, effective step toward a more equitable and efficient healthcare system, and I urge your support for House Bill 2789. If you have additional questions, there are some folks testifying after me today.
I'm looking it up here real quick.
That are a little bit more experts on the technical level than I am, but I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much. Knowing that you have another meeting to be out, we're going to let you go in, and we will ask any questions of those who follow. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We have several people, 6 folks joining us remotely, all speaking in support. So I'd like to invite Dr. Kennedy, followed by Dr. Izumi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair Patterson, Vice Chair Hayden, and members of the committee. My name is Jennifer. It's good to see everyone, and I'm a registered nurse. I'm president of the American Nurses Association and a member of
Why is this so hard to find?
the School of Nursing at OHSU and a Eugene resident. Today, I strongly support allowing registered nurses to bill Medicaid directly for specific essential healthcare services. RNs are crucial frontline providers consistently delivering high-quality, cost-effective care, especially in underserved communities throughout Oregon. Expanding Medicaid billing privileges to RNs will enhance patient access to timely preventative services, chronic disease management, and patient education, ultimately reducing overall healthcare costs and improving healthcare outcomes. Currently, the lack of direct Medicaid billing limits the RN's ability to really practice to that full extent of their education in their license, particularly in the community. This barrier disproportionately impacts rural and underserved areas where nurses are often the primary health providers that are available. RN's role in care coordination and care management significantly
this not
improve
happening
health
today?
outcomes and reduce healthcare costs,
Maybe it's
especially
not
during
till-
critical shortages
No,
of
it's
primary
supposed to
care
be.
providers, which we
I
have in Oregon.
apologize.
It's important to know that RNs already provide these essential services, often without compensation or through private arrangements, leading to inequities to access to care. For instance, Navi Nurses, a nurse-led organization in Arizona, has demonstrated positive impacts of nurse-led transitional care. Their model has improved patient outcomes and reduced hospital readmissions, highlighting the value of empowering
through
RNs
emails
to
here trying to
operate at
find
the
it.
top of their license. This legislation aligns with Oregon's commitment to innovative, patient-centered care models that maximize the strengths of our healthcare workforce. I respectfully urge your support for this vital step forward, one that recognizes the critical role RNs play in our healthcare system and expands healthcare access for Oregonians' most vulnerable citizens.
Dr. Kennedy, could you please?
Hang on, I might have screwed
give us
this
some
up.
Examples of the types of care that for which this could be reimbursed?
Maybe
That's
it's not today.
currently being reimbursed under the nursing scope of practice?
So there is no
To testify. For the record, my name is Tim Dooley. I'm testifying on behalf of the Oregon Associations of Oregon Counties, representing
flying aircraft in restricted areas. What we've seen in previous situations that regarding media, just in general use in a crime scene or location, they have been
Well, this
coordinated
is
with,
embarrassing. I don't.
law enforcement to be able to have access to certain areas that may
I
be
saw
safe,
something that said it was
and not
today,
risk,
but now it's saying it's
risk
Thursday.
to others.
Thank you. Follow up, sir?
Yes, please.
And
Can our folks that are
Yeah, I'm looking through more
fighting the
emails.
wildfire shoot down the drones? That's a question that general government does.
I can say there's been times where I've been thinking about self-help as well, but I don't think that would be permissible.
So I want to preface this before we get to questions. Do you have the bill number?
it's Thursday. It's not today. Thursday at 1 p.m. So in 2 days. 2025 regular session. sb550 public hearing. And I'm just looking on my phone here. We're talking about shooting down drones and wildfires. Yeah, 4/24, 2025 at 1 p.m. Oopsies. Hang on. Let me file. Let's delete that. So, apparently we were just looking at motors today, and this doesn't happen until Thursday. So, I think what we might do is, looks like our poll, 67% of people say no on LaCroix, and 33% yes. So, what we're going to do is Thursday, here on the second channel, at 1 p.m., we're going to look at this. Then we're going to switch over to the main channel at 3 p.m. that day and do a regular live stream. Alrighty. Well, yeah, anyhow. So at that point, do I still have time to record a video today? I think I'm going to clean up the mess of stuff, the inbox, which is my apartment currently, and figure out what video I'm going to film and probably do it tomorrow. There'll be something to do with repairs, but I'm not sure exactly yet. We'll figure it out. Yeah, here's cowbells for that. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, we've gone about 90 minutes. So anyways, let me change the stream title for the replay. Second channel, oops, wrong date. Hang on here. Round with voters. And wrong date or sb550. Oops! Exclamation point. Yeah, get that saved. Hey, Michael McAllister, how we doing? How much do springs cost compared to proper shocks? If the F5 is a lot more expensive, that would be the reason why. Actually, while we're here, let's see if we can look that up. Let's close some tabs here. I think Build My Wheelchair might have them. But yeah, since I don't know if you're watching earlier, Michael, but yeah, these shocks have nothing inside of them. But the 5 Series chairs do. Shocks for permobil. Let's see if we can get some prices here. I don't know if they're going to list them. They may not. Including for rear spring arm M5. So there's no picture and it's hard to tell what this means. Actually, here, we can find out. I think they used Permobil's terminology. So that was for an M5. So let's... Oh no, did they break it? Oh wait, it's different. Loaded views is different. Quick search, just type, okay, M5 shock. They finally updated their old PHP system, apparently. So, wait. Power base. This looks broken. Let's try and use it anyways. Control F. M5. 5. Okay, chassis. Shocks and flex link. Oh yeah, they changed their thing. Okay, whatever. So number 4 is not listed. That says 4. 4. Not over here. Shock, flex link. 5. What was their terms? Shock absorber included hardware for rear swing arm. Ah, I knew they copied it straight off. Okay, so if we go see 1.1, so it's giving us this same diagram. Let's search for this part number. Let's go back to the main site. Facelift, upper mount. Okay, so it looks like they're $150 each, which isn't too bad. Let's see if we can find the one for the 3 Series permobil, which is not listed here. Oh, hang on. I have the price sheet. Hang on, let me grab it real quick. It came with all my stuff. Oh, I think I just printed it out. Yeah, I printed it out yesterday. Hang on here. Still sitting on the printer. Rear cushion. Shock absorber 2. What is 310 divided by 2? 155. So apparently they're about the same price. Interesting. So it's not that much more expensive, which is odd. Wait a minute. These dirty hippies build the labor. I picked up the parts. There was no labor. Okay, whatever. Maybe they'll fix it later. We'll just assume they're going to fix it later. But yeah, so a pair of them was $310, which was their cost. The motor drive units were $1,300, which was their cost. Hang on, I forgot I have to lean over here so this focuses. Oh, hang on. My F5 so-called shocks were leaking oil. Yeah, so the 5 Series chairs are actual shocks with oil dampening. Just the 3 Series are not. So the side guard fabrics were $350 for the pair. Yeah, so it looks like the motors, their cost was $1,300. Oh, and the brackets were $670, which I did not ask for, but whatever. Back cushion, $367. So the back fabric costs more than the shocks. Interesting. And the cool thing about Build My Wheelchair is they're basically charging pretty close to whatever the cost would be, plus a negligible amount, like, I don't know, 10% or something, so that they can, you know, run their business. But yeah, 150 versus whatever that other number was. So yeah, they're not really that much more expensive, which is interesting. Huh. Yeah, and so the M5 is only going to have 2 of these. Actually, they might be different on the F5 because the setup's a little bit different. So there is a chance they may cost a little bit more. But looking between this stuff, and also, by the way, they've updated the Exploded Views permobil site, so that's kind of cool. It actually works sort of faster now. It just looks different. But yeah, that's weird. If they're both roughly the same cost at scale, why not include the proper shocks? See, that's what's weird. So my chair, the F3, which has the not shock shocks, when I installed, I bought the old, in an old video, I had a set of C500 shocks, which are oil dampened and have an adjustable rebound control. Here, I'm just going to take a picture and show you. It'll be easier. Hang on. Okay, let me whisk this over to the computer real quick. Actually, let me adjust the brightness on that. Auto exposure. Hang on, that picture's terrible. I have to take another one. Ah, I hit the power button instead of taking a photo. Okay, let's look at that. There we go. Okay, local send. Let me open that up on here. By the way, local send is a great cross-platform way to get photos from various phones to your computers. Tidy strawberry is our keyword. So local send, send, media, select the photo, confirm, tidy strawberry, and accept. And slash downloads. There we go. So this chair was designed to come with these shocks that don't have any oil dampening. There's no rebound control or anything like that. But here, before we do this, I'm going to show you the C500 shocks, which are older school ones. They might have started becoming harder to find. Here we go. So this is what I retrofitted on the front of my chair. You can see it's a really nice shock. There's a rebound control sticking out. They are oil dampened. You can adjust them. Pretty sweet, right? Check this out. My chair. Whoa. My chair has Here, let me do this differently. Nope, that's the wrong window. There we go. This is my F3 that I'm sitting in right now. And I put C500 shocks in it. What's insane is I think they intended this chair to work with them. See this cutout right here? That was intended for a rebound control. So at what point during development did they decide, hey, instead of using proper shocks, we're just going to put in these dummy things that have no valving? It's super interesting to me that this chair has a cutout for that rebound control. I find that very interesting. Now, these ones, they don't sell these anymore. I'm sure they were probably a little bit more expensive. This, you can see the old school permobil logo down here. So you can tell these are like older ones, obviously. But yeah, that begs the question, like Michael said, why, if it's a negligible cost difference, did we not include the good ones? Or by proxy, use some really good ones off the C500s. But then again, we have to step back and look and realize that they stopped selling the anti-flutter clutches for the high-speed chairs, and now everyone has caster flutter. Why would they stop doing that? So there's a lot of questions in general. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. If we look around on eBay, though, we can find the, let's see. I think it's these orange ones. Where'd they go? Here we go. These are from an M5. So these are oil dampened, but there's no rebound control. So these are the more expensive ones by like 10 or 20 bucks that are proper shocks with the little orange thing on there. No rebound control, but they are oil dampened at least. And apparently the cost is negligibly more. So that's a very good question, Michael. I don't know why they would do that. So here are the same ones. Oh, these are from an M1. So these should be the same not shock shocks. It's hard to tell. Let's do F3. By the way, eBay is a great spot to look at parts and stuff. So these are interesting. So we have ones with this green label. Then we have the ones with no label, which I have. It's making me wonder if they do have a version that is gas-filled. Oh, no, those look like the same design. Well, no. See how it looks like right here? We have a seal, and there's a rubber donut instead of a cover on these ones with the green label. Then if we look at the ones we just took apart, these have this little rubber butt cap, and you can tell, look at the light reflecting off that silver surface. That is not compatible with any sort of seal. That is literally just a bolt. And we don't have a donut, we just have that dust cover. But these are black, whereas these ones have a green thing on them. And if we look stupid close at them, we can see that this surface is really shiny. And we have donuts instead of dust covers. So I don't know, maybe there are a few different versions of these for whatever reason. I don't know, much confused. That's weird. If you'd almost bet that the dollars has something to do with it. I'm almost wondering too if switch microphones. I'm almost wondering too if the medical coding has something to do with it. Because between group 3 and group 4, there is a designation for different ride quality and suspension. So I'm almost wondering if there's some weird regulation involved. But then we have the capacity to have proper ones in here, which they never offered this on this chair. So I don't know. On the cheaper chair, they're probably figuring the end user will want something that's self-contained, no maintenance or adjustments necessary. Yeah. Oil dampen probably costs more. to make or buy. Yeah, and that's the thing. We looked at the price, and they seem to be within $20 of each other. So I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, well, since this stream failed to do what it advertised, and that was the whole point of it, I think we're going to call that good. So, anyways, thanks for watching. We looked at some motors and discussed shocks and tried to figure out some of Permobil's infinite wisdom, which apparently is not possible to determine, decipher, or any sort of words like that. But, yeah, anyways, I think we're going to end that here. I'm going to get back to work on some organization stuff here. And should be another video tomorrow, hopefully. If not, it'll be Thursday morning at the very latest. I just have to figure out which one I want to do. There's a lot of factors with stuff. But anyways, I'll see you Thursday for sure. We're going to be here on the second channel at 1 p.m. for that hearing. Then at 3 p.m., we're going to jump over to the main channel and do the regular live stream. So anyways, bye, y'all. Abrupt ending. Oh, how about some cowbell?